Cathy Cena with Tri-Cities Community TV in downtown Port Coquitlam at Lee Square, the Michael Wright Art Gallery. Our guest today is not only a mother and a woman with so many different talents. I learned about Rita Sheloff with her memory quilts, and we're going to talk about a woman who went from tragedy to triumph. Welcome to the show today, Rita. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And my way of knowing you is really through your memory quilts, and you're so passionate and all this quilting that I don't really know anything about. And I'd like you to share with our audience and myself, how did you get started in quilting?
Okay, so I got started actually through tragedy. I was taking my children. I have a son and my stepson. It was the first day of school, and I took the day off and we went for a little bike ride, and unfortunately tragedy struck and my stepson was killed that day. It was the most horrific thing that any parent would need to go through, and I don't wish that on anyone. Through the grieving process and the next few days, few weeks, just everything was going through my mind. I didn't know what to do. I could see my husband, or my fiance at the time, I wanted to help him, and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, it just popped into my mind that I'm going to make a memory quilt. And it was the most therapeutic thing I can say that was for me, because as I was working on them, as I was picking out the photos, stitching them into the fabric, I would shed some tears, because it would remind me of those times that I took those pictures and when we were together, and I found it very therapeutic. So I know that my husband was going to find that as well. And and a quilt is something that you can wrap yourself in and just comfort. So that was the whole inspiration behind it all. So I went to work and I secretly did this away from him. We had this tiny little room that I shared with him, his office and my sewing, and every time he would come around, I'd have to bunch it up and cover it up with something else. So
was this a gift that you were going to give your husband?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
I
yes.
had started it I started it in September, and I finished it for Christmas.
2003?
2004.
In 4, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
2004.
Okay.
And so then we decided to, I loved the quilt, absolutely loved the quilt, was shocked that I was able to do it without him knowing. It hangs on our wall at home. It's a wonderful reminder.
Yes,
it is.
yes. I mean, I talked to you a little bit about things before earlier today, just to get an understanding of what sort of sparks your passion, with these quilts, because it's not just about, making quilts for your stepson who's passed away. I think that you've also taken this to another level of, you're doing this for other people now. This is actually turned into a business for you. And when I met you, actually, you were working in the office supply industry, and I was also doing something different. But you always had this as your hobby. And I really remember when you posted that you left that company because now you were really truly going to do what you loved doing. And I think that, as the saying goes, do what you love and you never work a day in your life, right? And through our conversations, you've expressed to me what this sort of brings. I don't want to use the same analogy of, that this is really sparking joy and everything else, but I can tell just even in your demeanor and everything. So moving forward now, this was very therapeutic for you, and your husband, I'm sure, was very excited and saddened and everything all at once that you would do such a grandeur gesture like this for him. Tell me about what's happening in the last so many months of your life, and what you're doing, with quilting, and how you are maybe helping, give therapy back to some other people. Can you share a story or two with me?
Yeah, no, for sure. I originally decided that, first of all, we moved away from here. We lived in Coquitlam when this all happened. We moved away to Castlegar, which is the Kootenays, which is why I ended up choosing my name as Kootenay Custom Quilting.
Oh, I always wondered that.
Yeah.
Because you lived in Coquitlam. I said, what the heck do the Kootenays have to do with this? Now I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
got it.
So
Okay.
that's where it started. And I took a couple of workshops through a place there called Community Futures, just to see, like, is this even viable? Do people want would they buy memory quilts? Would they
Right,
want someone
right.
to make them? Like, so my family had pushed me to do that, took several courses there, and then I started, and it was amazing to find out how many different kinds of memory quilts there are. I started because it was for therapeutic reasons.
Right.
But there's so many different kinds of quilts out there. People want baby clothing, first-year baby clothing quilts, to remember by. They want T-shirt quilts. There's so many people out there. They collect concert T-shirts. There are car shows. There's marathons. I've done like so many of those as well. Then there's signature quilts, sort of like this one here. And this one is actually one I made for our wedding. It was my first signature quilt that I had done. And I wanted everyone to, I didn't want them to sign a guest book. You
Right.
put the guest book away, it sits in the drawer, no one ever sees it, right?
Right.
This we have out, we use it all the time. We've been married for like going on 12 years now, so you can imagine how many times this has been washed.
Right. No, it's very, very beautiful.
So-
It's very lovely. It's a memory of your time with your husband, of course, and brings you back to that time when you did get married. But so now this is your business, right? Like you do this for a living.
Yes.
And how is it going?
It's going really great. People are finding me, they're contacting me. I have a website, and they just look at the website and the write-up on there, because it's how I feel, and so I write my heart. And
Yes.
because I love sewing so much, and I love quilting, I put my heart into everything, and people can really feel that and sense that. So that's, I think, why I get a lot of the business that I get.
Well, that's great.
amazing.
Well, let's give you more business, Rita. How can people find out more about you?
They can go to my website, which is www.kcquilting, for Kootenay Custom Quilting.
Right.
.com. I'd love for people to contact me and follow me on Facebook, and yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. You heard it here today at Tri-Cities Community TV. Our guest today was Rita Sheloff, and she truly did turn tragedy into triumph. And today she is working her passion, quilting, at kcquilting.com. Check out her website and give her a call. I'm Cathy Cena, Tri-Cities Community TV.